The American flag ripped from the City Hall flagpole and burned. For weeks now, we've wanted to know, what does the surveillance footage show? Well, tonight, Only 11 News has the answers. Plus, that massive sinkhole still growing, still a danger.
It's not safe for our crews to do any exploring right now.
New at 10, what's being done to get road repairs started? And it all starts with $500,000. And so many bear sightings in southern Colorado. Today alone, these pictures into our newsroom. New tonight, a bear feeding arrest. A Springs woman now facing criminal charges.
Now, with 11 minutes of non-stop news and your no-wait weather, KKTV 11 News at 10.
Good evening. Thanks very much for joining us tonight. I'm Don Ward. Diane Derby has the night off. This is new tonight. Just into the 11 newsroom, we've learned that a woman has been arrested for feeding and luring the bears you see in these pictures we just obtained. The bears have apparently been coming to her house for years. Colorado Parks and Wildlife tells us tonight it was just a matter of time before the animals got aggressive and someone was going to get hurt. The house where the bears were visiting is right near 2 elementary schools. 11 News reporter Katie Pelton joins us now live from the Rock Rimmon neighborhood in the northwest side of Colorado Springs. So, Katie, what have you been able to learn?
Don, right now wildlife officials are trying to trap the bears in this area. That's why we're staying out of the immediate neighborhood. We do know once they're caught, at least 3 of the bears will have to be put down because they've been caught before near humans. Now, wildlife officials tell us when they watched the house this week, they saw 6 to 10 bears stop by right at the back door for food, as you can see in these pictures. Now, the homeowner has been ticketed several times in the past since 2010 for feeding bears, but when she didn't stop, wildlife officials say that's when they went to arrest her tonight. Wildlife officials say feeding bears teaches animals to be too comfortable around humans. They also lose the ability to find their own food, which can make them aggressive. Now, we spoke to people who live in the area. Here's what they have to say about it.
There's a lot of kids that walk through the neighborhood. School's about to start. And if those bears are coming out thinking they're going to get something to eat.
Well, I don't want my child to be hurt, obviously. So for anyone that would be out there thinking about feeding lynxes, I know we saw one recently, bears, anything like that, it's not a pet.
We know wildlife officials will be in the neighborhood tonight and into tomorrow until they catch all the bears. Now, the ones that are not immediately killed will be evaluated to see if they can survive being relocated. Reporting live in Colorado Springs, Katie Pelton, KKTV 11 News.
It's just so sad what may happen to them, Katie. Thanks very much for that. You know, 6 years ago, a woman in Ouray, Colorado, had been feeding a family of bears. She was eventually mauled to death by one of them. It's important to remember that bears are most active this time of year, late fall until they're ready for hibernation. Who can forget this video? A bear just dragging a dumpster all over the parking lot at a Springs restaurant. This was 2 years ago, also in early August. Let's move on now to new information tonight about the 3 million gallons of toxic mine waste that spilled into the Animas River. The head of the EPA was in Durango today to see the damage that's been done. A week after the spill sent arsenic and mercury waste into the water, levels have returned to normal. But now there is concern about long-term risk to the health of people in that area. The head of the EPA says there will be full reviews of what went wrong, but our state's attorney general wants to make sure she holds up those promises.
No agency could be more upset about the incident happening, more dedicated in terms of doing our job and getting this right.
Damage sometimes doesn't show up for months or even years.
Even though the water is getting back to normal tonight, the river is still closed. This is new tonight. A woman who helped her husband steal Christmas decorations from neighbors now knows her punishment. According to our partners at the Gazette, 42-year-old Carrie Carley got 4 years probation and 150 hours of community service. The two stole $2,000 worth of decorations in Colorado Springs last winter. Then they put some of the stolen decorations right in their own yard. We talked to Carly right after she was caught. She told us she was sorry for the crimes.
Some people I've tried to apologize, and some of them seem to be kind of forgiving, you know, but some aren't, and I understand.
Her husband, 18-year-old Jeremy Llewellyn, got 6 months in jail and 6 years probation. He says he stole those decorations because he, quote, thought it was just fun. The largest firefighting aircraft in the U.S. is headed right here to Colorado Springs to be based here. It could really change the way fires are fought. Disasters like the Black Forest and the Waldo Canyon fires. The 747 Boeing aircraft can carry nearly 20,000 gallons of retardant If there is a fire right here, this plane can become part of the fight right away. There's no need to wait.
I can be 100 miles in 20 minutes dumping on a fire at that time, fully loaded, ready to go. So that's the kind of response that's needed, particularly for major fires near major structures and human life.
Officials with that company, Global Supertanker Services, say part of the reason they chose Colorado Springs is because of the central location. Here's something happening tomorrow. The horse owner found guilty for badly neglecting her animals will be sentenced. Last September, those horses were found on Sherry Brunzell's property in Black Forest. Some were found unhealthy and starved. A dozen others were found dead. The horses were taken away. They've been living at a rehabilitation center. Brunzell has been paying $5,000 a month for their care. She's facing up to 18 months in jail. We'll let you know what happens. Right now, a home on the edge of a landslide on the brink of collapsing. This is right near Cheyenne Boulevard on the southwest side of Colorado Springs. The homeowner tells us the crack grows at least an inch every day approaching the house. It was about a foot deep 2 weeks ago. Now it's about 8 feet, and the land on the home cannot be stabilized. There's a possibility for FEMA to buy out that property. The stormwater manager told us all our rain and snow this year, well, that's what's to blame.
All the moisture we had in May. It takes a while sometimes to get down to, there's a bedrock layer somewhere down here, and so the water gets down to it, starts lubricating it, and with the mass, with all the rain we've had, it's weighing the soil down even more.
That's not the only problem around Colorado Springs. City engineers are also dealing with this huge sinkhole on Chestnut Drive. That's near Fillmore on I-25. It's been growing every day since Monday when an old culvert under the street failed and all the rainwater washed away the ground underneath the road. New tonight, 11 News reporter Daniel Kreuter joins us now live there. We were talking to the senior city engineer today, so when can they start getting this thing fixed?
Well, Don, it's hard for engineers to say at this point, and here's why. I know it's dark out, but the sinkhole behind us reaches all the way almost to the other side of the street, and it's growing every day. But still, many folks today were still trying to cross the street and walk in the same area. That's why police officers were out here earlier to block the road. Here's what the sinkhole looked like on Monday. We took this video today. The gap on the surface doesn't even tell the story of the huge hole underneath.
It's not safe for our crews to do any exploring right now. We're gonna be evaluating that tomorrow.
City engineer Aaron Egbert says there are still points on the street that are very vulnerable. You can see they've blocked off a huge area around the sinkhole, but that didn't stop some folks from using the road or trying to get a closer look.
It's still increasing in size. It's increased about 25% from our original assessment when we were out there on Monday night. It is not safe to be near it.
Noticing kids looking down in this hole, how unsafe it is. There's no ground underneath there. I mean, people, wake up.
It's crazy. I mean, I didn't get very close, but I did pull over and try and be Snoopy. It's just like this big crater.
The Pikes Peak Rural Transportation Authority, or PPRTA, approved $500,000 to get designs drawn up to start figuring out how to solve this growing problem. Engineers will be out here tomorrow morning to get a closer look at the damage, although unfortunately it seems that the actual construction to repair the road may be a long way off. Reporting live in Colorado Springs, I'm Danielle Kreuter, KKTV 11 News.
What a mess, Danielle. Thanks very much. We'll be sure to keep you updated on when the repairs get going. And this is new tonight. More problems on our streets. Some families without water right now because of this water main break. It's on Crestridge Avenue near B Street on the south side of the Springs. A water main pipe burst there. It's causing some street flooding. The water should be back on by morning. Let's hope so. New at 10, we're getting a look now at some of the damage after a massive blast at a shipping yard in China. This is a nearby train station that has a lot of damage and debris in the area. At least 17 people were killed. Hundreds more were injured. It happened in a warehouse filled with hazardous materials. One of the explosions was the equivalent of 21 tons of TNT. Security camera video shows one person being tossed back from the force of the blast right there. It's just hard to watch. The cause of a deadly motorcycle accident on Fort Carson is now under investigation tonight. It all happened this afternoon. The soldier was taken to the hospital on post where he died. His name has not yet been released. New at 10, we have the 911 calls that a woman made while she was trapped in her car while it was caught up in those raging floodwaters.
So roll the window down and get out now. get out of the car? Yes, and if you have electric windows, make sure the key is on. Okay. Windows down, leave them down?
Well, that was Monday afternoon, but when she saw the heavy rain when we saw the heavy rain in Colorado Springs, this was in the Mountain Shadows neighborhood. The street looked like a raging river right there, and Kimberly Trujillo was swept right up in it.
It was just really bad, and it was really fast because when we were coming up the road, there was no water. Then all of a sudden, it was just a mass flood.
She stayed in her car even after it stopped moving because of the hail, stayed in it for a while, and luckily, she was not hurt. 11 minutes of nonstop news continues now with this. Former President Jimmy Carter says he will share more about his cancer diagnosis sometime next week. Today, he said that the disease took a turn for the worse. The 90-year-old had surgery earlier this month to remove a small mass from his liver. The cancer has apparently spread to other parts of his body now, too. Well, we're taking a look ahead tonight. Almost 2 years after heavy flooding caused major damage, Seven Falls is about to open up again. It'll happen tomorrow. Expect it to be very different from what you remember. There will be a new restaurant there, some zip lines, and a brand new hiking trail as well, all paid for by the Broadmoor Hotel, which bought Seven Falls last year. If you plan to go, you can no longer park inside Seven Falls. You have to park at the Broadmoor. Then there's a shuttle to get you there. Let's move on now to your no-wait weather with meteorologist Emily Roller. We're all wondering if everything is over for tonight, if we're getting more rain showers. What's going on?
We're tracking one lingering storm. This is over the Pikes Peak region. Otherwise, very clear conditions out across southern Colorado. You can see some of those lightning strikes going now near Florissant. This storm has been slowly tracking eastward through Teller County, so Woodland Park picking up on some rain now, and this is going to continue to move out to the east. Hasn't really been strengthening or anything, and otherwise, we're seeing pretty clear conditions out there tonight, so no additional worries across southern Colorado as far as rain chances go. As we head through the rest of our Wednesday night, that storm that we're tracking now over Teller County, it is going to move into the Pikes Peak region. Best chance around the Springs to see any rain with this will be on the west side, and then once we get to midnight, it tracks up to the north and continues to clear overnight. We'll see mostly clear conditions along the I-25 corridor once we get to our 3 o'clock hour overnight, and the sunny skies will continue as we move into our early morning hours. So the clearing, good news for those of you who are turning your eyes to the sky tonight, checking out the Perseid meteor shower. You want to look to the northeast, and if you can, avoid those city lights and around the Pikes Peak region. The later you go, you're going to have a better view as those clouds continue to clear on out. Now, heading through the rest of our Thursday as we plan out your day, we are looking at another warm and slightly drier day on tap, very similar to what we saw out there today. High of 87 in the Springs, still mainly dry by 3 o'clock. That best chance for storms is going to be out to the west by our mid-afternoon. 79 in Woodland Park, low 90s for Security, Fountain, and into Ellicott. So dealing with some toasty temperatures out there tomorrow. Planning out your day in Pueblo, you're already near 90 by noon tomorrow, into the mid-90s by 3 o'clock, and staying mainly dry. Canyon City and Florence will be in the low 90s tomorrow, 88 in Texas Creek. In that direction, a better chance of seeing a stray shower or storm, mid-90s, moving east of Pueblo. Any rain chances by 3, mainly out to the west of I-25, and that's where we see that best chance during the mid-afternoon. Now, rolling to about 7 o'clock, a few of these are going to sneak out to the east, so the best window to see storms through the Pikes Peak region along and east of I-25 going to be between 3 and 7 o'clock. Then once we head past 7, a few of these scattered storms push into the far southeastern plains. Otherwise, clearing conditions along the interstate, and the clearing conditions continue overnight and into our Friday. For Friday, a very similar day ahead. We'll see a high in the mid-80s, spotty afternoon thunderstorms, and the warm-up continues into Saturday where we are near 90 degrees. Cooler Monday, down to the low 80s. It's short-lived, though, back to the mid-80s Tuesday and Wednesday. For Pueblo, mainly dry in the mid-90s the next 2 days with spotty thunderstorm chances returning as we head through the weekend. Canyon City and Florence are mainly dry tomorrow with storm chances making a return heading Friday through the rest of the 7-day, and for Woodland Park, dodging thunderstorms each and every afternoon. Dawn?
All right, Emily, thanks very much. Well, there is a new technique now to try to preserve water in drought-stricken California. Coming up on 11 News at 10, how millions of these plastic balls can help at a time they need it the most. But first, only 11 News has the surveillance video outside City Hall the night the American flag was burned. Why the camera couldn't catch the criminal, and the changes being made now so it doesn't happen again.